Today, we're digging into a crisis that honestly affects every single one of us, every single day, the food on our plates. Based on a really eye-opening article, we're going to uncover the hidden threat of food adulteration.
It's a weird situation to be in, isn't it? I mean, we've got amazing technology, incredible medical science, and yet in so many places, our health is actually getting worse. Our lifespans are even getting shorter. Well, the article we're looking at today argues that the answer is hiding in plain sight, in our food.
All right, so to figure out how we got here, let's hit rewind for a second. The article says that to really get it, we need to go back to the original, much simpler goal of all human progress.
You know, at its heart, human development wasn't ever about getting the latest smartphone or building the tallest skyscraper. Nope, it was about the basics. The whole point was just to get the things we need to live well. You know, to be healthy, to live longer, and just be happy. It all started with survival. And just think about that for a second. Early civilizations built their entire world around this. Where was the clean water? Okay, that's where we'll settle. Where's the good land for food? Right, that's where we'll build our society. This stuff wasn't just on a to-do list. It was the foundation of everything.
So if we started out with such a clear, noble goal, where did it all go so wrong? Well, this is where the story takes a really sharp and pretty dangerous turn, and it leads us right to the problem we're all facing today.
The journey, it started logically enough. We went from just searching for food to building entire civilizations around it. But then, boom, a massive population explosion. Suddenly, we had to figure out how to feed billions of people. That challenge kicked off a huge industrial revolution in food. We're talking new farming methods, mass processing, chemical preservatives, all of it designed to keep up. And here's the big, sad irony, right? All of that amazing innovation, it should have kicked off a golden age of health for everyone on the planet. But instead, what it really did was create a system where cutting corners wasn't just an option, it was extremely profitable. And that opened the door to something way, way more sinister.
And this brings us right to the heart of the problem, which the article spells out in no uncertain terms. The very food that's supposed to give us life has, in way too many cases, become a source of poison.
Just look at this table. It lays out the switch perfectly. Where we're supposed to get natural colors from, say, spices or fruits, we get cheap industrial dyes. Instead of pure, healthy oils, we get low-grade, often harmful substitutes. Fruits aren't left to ripen, they're blasted with chemicals to do it faster, and real ingredients get swapped out for cheap chemical fillers. In every single one of these cases, our health is being traded for profit.
The source material just puts it so bluntly with this statement. It's powerful. The very thing we eat for energy, for life, for health, has been twisted into a slow-acting poison.
And you gotta ask this question, right? It just shows how absurd the whole global food system is. You see chemicals and additives that are totally banned in some countries being used openly in others. I mean, your health shouldn't depend on your zip code, but right now, a lot of the time it does.
So who's to blame for all this? Well, the article points to a total system failure. It kicks off with industries that put profit margins way ahead of human lives. But they can only get away with it because of corrupted systems, officials who might take a bribe or just look the other way, and a shocking lack of regular, proper inspections. It's a whole chain of failure where it seems like everyone forgets that their own families are eating this exact same food.
And here's the most crucial point. The article argues that we have to stop seeing this as some minor rule breaking. Knowingly poisoning the food that people eat, that isn't a small offense, it's a crime, plain and simple.
And the cost of that crime? It's just staggering. We're not talking about a little stomachache here. We're talking about lifelong diseases. We're talking about developmental issues in our kids, a measurable drop in how long we live, and the unbelievable emotional and financial weight this puts on families who have to care for sick loved ones.
Okay, so with a problem this big, a few fines here and there are clearly not going to cut it. The article argues that what we really need is a complete change in how we think about justice and about what progress even means.
This slide shows the change perfectly. Look, for a giant company making millions, a fine is just the cost of doing business. It's nothing. But if you start treating this as a crime, with the threat of actual criminal punishment, well, that changes the whole game. It makes the consequences for putting people in danger personal and very, very real.
At the end of the day, it all boils down to this simple, powerful truth. People work their entire lives to provide for their families, right? To put good, healthy food on the table. They've earned the right to trust that the food they buy isn't going to make them sick.
And this brings us to the final,
and maybe the most critical point. We have to completely redefine what we mean by development. Is it really about shiny skyscrapers and super-fast internet? Or is real, actual development about the things that truly matter? Having safe food, clean water, and a society of healthy people.
The source leaves us with this one last question to really think about. What good is all the economic growth in the world? What's the point of any of our progress if the very foundation of our health, the food we eat, is broken? It's a question we should all probably be asking ourselves.